Before going to bed, I accidentally overheard a creepy conversation between my daughter and son-in-law. "I'm sick of him. After Christmas, he'll be living in a nursing home." I threw open the door and thundered, "Before you carry out your evil plan, watch this special movie." I turned it on the TV. My son-in-law turned pale and fainted. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and let us know where you are listening in the comments. The key was halfway to the lock when I heard Silas's voice through the kitchen window. "He's driving me crazy. After Christmas, he's going to a nursing home. I don't care what." My hand froze. The brass key caught the porch light, throwing a small reflection against the door. Cold seeped through my jacket. December in Portland meant rain, and tonight delivered, steady, relentless, turning Spokane Street into a mirror of brake lights and street lamps. Priscilla's voice came next, softer but clearer through the crack I'd left for air. "Keep your voice down. But yeah, I called Meadowbrook yesterday. They have openings in January." I set my walking stick against the porch railing, too fast. It clattered against the wood, a sound that made me wince. 73 years old, and I still couldn't be stealthy if my life depended on it. Apparently, neither could my walking stick. Silas kept talking. "And the house? Because we need that money now, not—" "I know. Once he's settled, we list it. Market's good. Should get 380, maybe 400. The third step creaked as I shifted my weight. My knee throbbed. The reason I'd cut my walk short. The reason I was home early enough to hear any of this. Some documentary filmmaker I'd been. 40 years tracking stories across 3 continents, and I couldn't navigate my own porch without a soundtrack. I pushed the door open. Priscilla stood at the kitchen counter, wine glass in hand. Silas sat at my table, my grandmother's oak table, papers spread between them like battle plans. They turned as one, synchronized in their guilt. "Meadowbrook," I said. "That's a nice touch." The wine glass hit the floor. Red liquid spread across white tiles, branching like veins. The wine spread across the floor like a crime scene. Appropriate, really. I almost appreciated the symbolism. "Dad, we thought you were—" Priscilla's face cycled through expressions too fast to catalog. Surprise, fear, something harder underneath. "Just planning my future? How thoughtful." I stepped fully into the kitchen. The warmth hit me, contrast sharp after the cold outside. What else did I miss? The color scheme for my nursing home room? Silas stood, shoulders squaring. "Gideon, listen, we were just what?" My knee buckled slightly. I grabbed the doorframe, steadied myself. "Discussing real estate markets, planning my eulogy." "You don't understand the context," he started. "Oh, I understand perfectly." The words came out colder than I intended. "Good. Before you execute your little plan, though, you should watch something." Priscilla moved toward me, hands out like I was a spooked animal. "Watch what? Dad, you're not making a special film." I was making this up as I went, but the words felt right. 42 vintage cameras sat in my garage. 42 chances I'd been too sentimental to sell. My wife used to call it hoarding. I called it preparedness. Tonight, I was calling it ammunition. "I think you'll find it very educational." Silas's jaw clenched. "What are you talking about? What film?" "You'll see, soon enough." "Dad, please, if you just let us explain." "Explain what?" I looked at my daughter. When had she stopped looking like my daughter? The part where I'm driving you crazy, or the part where you've already made calls? Silas moved between us. "We're trying to do what's best for everyone." "Everyone?" I almost laughed. "That's generous." I turned and walked back through the house. My house. The hardwood floors I'd refinished in 1987. The walls I'd painted 3 times over 30 years. The door frames marked with pencil lines tracking Priscilla's height. And later, measurements I'd thought might someday mark grandchildren. I don't remember walking to the garage. But there I was, 20 minutes later, surrounded by equipment that suddenly made sense in a way it never had before. The walls held my collection. Bolex cameras from the 60s, a Bell & Howell I'd used in Vietnam, modern digital rigs I barely understood but had purchased anyway. And tucked between them, almost invisible, the smaller cameras. The ones I'd set up 3 months ago for what I'd told myself was a family memory project. My hands moved through memory cards without conscious thought. Muscle memory from 40 years of documentary work. Each card labeled, dated, organized. Professional habits die hard. I knocked over my favorite Bolex, caught it inches from the concrete. My hands still worked when it mattered. My phone buzzed. Delphine, my older daughter, texting from Barcelona. Dad, you okay? You usually call by now on Wednesdays. Everything good? I stared at the message, at the memory card spread across my editing desk, at the vintage camera collection that had seemed like nostalgia and now felt like arsenal. I sat down, slid the first card into the reader, footage from the living room camera, the one hidden behind books on the shelf. September timestamp. 3 months of recordings I'd made without quite admitting to myself why I was making them. The screen filled with Priscilla and Silas on the couch, voices low. The directional mic caught everything anyway. Silas said something. Priscilla laughed, that laugh that used to warm my heart. I reached for the volume dial, then stopped. My hand hovered over the keyboard. On screen, Silas pulled out his phone, showed Priscilla something. She leaned in. Too close for showing your mother-in-law something innocent. His hand moved to her knee. Oh, I whispered to the empty garage, to the cameras watching me watch them. Oh no. But what came next made my breath catch completely, made me forget the cold, the betrayal, the nursing home plans. Made everything snap into a focus sharper than any lens I'd ever used. On screen, they kissed. Not a family kiss. Not anything that belonged in my living room, in my house, between my daughter and her husband. The timestamp read, September 17th, 2 weeks after they'd moved in, my daughter and her son-in-law. The footage continued, but I couldn't look away. My finger hit the space bar. Pause. The image froze. Silas's hand on Priscilla's face, her eyes closed. I sat back. The garage smelled like oil and old metal, familiar and grounding. Rain hammered the roof. The hard drive whirred, patient and mechanical. This wasn't supposed to be what I found. The nursing home I'd expected, the house sale I'd overheard. But this? I rubbed my eyes. My coffee sat cold on the desk. Probably had been cold for an hour. When had I made coffee? The mug said, World's Best Grandpa. A gift from Priscilla 5 years back, before there were grandchildren to justify it. Before there was a son-in-law to kiss her in my living room, while her actual husband worked late shifts at the hospital. Wait. I pulled up my notes. Priscilla had divorced Marcus 2 years ago. She'd moved back in with Silas 6 months ago, August, calling him her partner. They'd married quietly, she said. Nothing fancy, just courthouse paperwork. I'd been so focused on the word partner, I'd missed the timeline. The camera had caught them in September. They'd supposedly married in July. I opened another folder, more footage, organized by date. My documentary training ran deep, everything labeled, categorized, backed up. Past Gideon humming while adjusting cameras, thinking he'd capture precious family moments. Well, I captured moments, all right, just not the precious kind. October 3rd, a Tuesday afternoon. I'd been at my weekly doctor's appointment, knee therapy, pointless but routine. The camera in the hallway showed Silas answering the front door. A woman, blonde, expensive coat, nervous energy. They didn't go to the living room. I fast-forwarded. 47 minutes later, she left. Silas watched from the door, hand on the frame, that same satisfied smile I'd seen on screen minutes ago. October 10th. The same woman, same Tuesday time slot. October 17th, 24th, 31st. Every Tuesday. Every time I had therapy. November brought more. Thursdays too. A pattern even passed me, the idiot setting up cameras for memories, couldn't miss. I wrote notes on paper, old school, but my hand shook so badly the pen tore through when I wrote guardianship. November 15th of footage showed them in the kitchen, Priscilla home from work early, Silas making dinner like he belonged there, like this was his house to inhabit, his table to command. The audio came through clear, another camera, another angle. I'd gotten good at this without meaning to. The house is worth what? $380 minimum? Priscilla opened wine. Thursday ritual. More if we can get it listed before February, but we need him out first. Meadowbrook has memory care units. We just need the evaluation. Silas stirred something on the stove. Casual, confident. Already handled. My guy can backdate the assessments. Looks completely legitimate. I paused the video. Looked at my watch. 9:47 p.m. Checked the calendar. Wednesday, December 11th. Hours ago, I'd been walking the neighborhood. Hours ago, my biggest concern was knee pain and whether to get Thai food or pizza for dinner. I pulled out another hard drive, labeled Family Project 2024. My fingers trembled connecting it. More footage, more dates, more evidence of my own obliviousness. September 22nd. Silas on the phone in the backyard. I'd been in the garage, door open, trimming the hedge that separates our property from the Kowalskis. I'd heard him, but hadn't listened. The camera had listened. "No, I told you, it's temporary." Silas paced near the fence. "I know, baby, I know. After New Year's, everything changes. He won't be a problem much longer." Past me had thought, wrong number? New job situation? Something about the construction project he'd mentioned once? I'd trimmed the hedge and forgotten about it. I needed to stand, pace. My knees screamed, but movement helped thinking. The garage felt smaller than usual, cameras watching from every wall. 40 years I'd spent behind them. Now they watched me. I forced myself back to the chair. More footage, more revelations clicking into place with the precision of a lens finding focus. November 3rd. That was the day Priscilla stopped calling me Dad. Started with Gideon instead. I'd noticed but told myself it was maturity, respect, something between adults. The footage showed her at the table with Silas, papers spread, his hand on her shoulder. Once we're his guardians, everything's ours to manage. The house, his accounts, everything. She'd looked up at him. And after? After doesn't matter. The paperwork's already in motion. That's when she'd stop saying, Dad. My phone buzzed. Text from Priscilla. Dad, we need to talk. What you heard wasn't, it's complicated. Please call me. The timestamp showed 10:15 p.m. She'd waited hours to send it. I didn't respond. Silas texted next. Gideon, you're being irrational. Let's discuss this like adults. Adults. Right. I opened video call software, found Delphine's number. Barcelona was 9 hours ahead, 1:15 a.m. for her. But this couldn't wait. She answered on the second ring, squinting at the screen. Dad, it's 1:30 in the morning here. What's wrong? I need you to sit up. You need to be awake for this. Her face changed, alert now, concerned. You're scaring me. Are you sick? Did something? I'm fine, physically. I angled the laptop camera away from my face. Didn't want her seeing whatever expression I was wearing. But Priscilla and Silas, they're planning something. Planning what? They want to put me in a nursing home, sell the house. They've already called facilities. Silence, then, what? No, Priscilla wouldn't. I have it on video, Delphine. I have everything. Another pause, longer. Everything? The affair, the forged documents, all of it. I heard her breathing, heard her process. She'd always been quicker than Priscilla, sharper, more willing to see things as they were rather than as she wanted them to be. I'm booking a flight, tonight. I'll be there in... No, not yet. I pulled the laptop closer. I need to finish reviewing everything first. Know exactly what I'm dealing with. Dad, you can't handle this alone. I'm not alone. I have you, and I have 40 hours of footage. Jesus! She ran a hand through her hair. Barcelona apartment visible behind her. Modern, clean, city lights through windows. Her life, separate, safe from this. Okay. What do you need from me? Time, maybe a week. I'll call you when I know more. I love you. Whatever you need, I'm here. Just promise me you'll be careful. I promise. Get some sleep. The call ended. I was alone again with screens and cameras and 40 years of knowing how to tell a story. I went back to the footage. Methodical now. Professional mode, the one that had carried me through war zones and disasters and human misery I'd filmed, but never quite felt until it was edited, packaged, distant. This wasn't distant. The timestamp on the final video file read, November 28th, 8 days ago. I almost skipped it. I'd seen enough. But the file size caught my attention. 47 minutes, the longest single recording. I clicked play. Silas sat at my kitchen table with a man in an expensive suit. Papers spread between them. The man slid a document across the surface. Professional, rehearsed. The medical assessment is dated correctly? The suit asked. Silas nodded. Backdated to September. Shows progressive cognitive decline. Textbook dementia presentation. And the second opinion? Different doctor, same conclusion. Both legitimate looking, both completely false. The man smiled, actually smiled. Beautiful. Once you file the guardianship petition, you'll have full control, power of attorney, financial decisions, medical authority. The whole package. Silas tapped the papers, and the house sale can proceed. Within weeks, he won't even understand what's happening. My hand moved to pause, but I couldn't. Silas was still talking. When do we file? The suit checked his phone. I'm submitting it Monday, December 16th. Judge Harrison owes me a favor. Should be approved within 48 hours. By Christmas, your father-in-law will be a ward of the state, and you'll be his guardian. I checked my computer's calendar. December 11th. 5 days. They were filing in 5 days. My phone buzzed again. Priscilla. Dad, please, let's talk tomorrow. I can explain everything. I stared at the message. At the screen showing Silas's satisfied smile. At the calendar showing 5 days until they made their move. 40 years as a professional cinematographer, meticulous about equipment, careful with every detail. Put a cup of coffee near important documents. Catastrophe. My hands were steadier filming in war zones. But they were steady now. I opened a new document. The cursor blinked in empty space, waiting. I typed 2 words. Phase 1. Part 2, Character Mount, 5043, Part 3. The cursor blinked at me for 3 hours before I wrote anything useful. Thursday morning arrived gray and wet, rain drumming on the garage roof like it was trying to break in. I hadn't slept. Coffee cups multiplied across my desk. 4, 5, 6 cold rings staining the timeline I'd sketched on legal pad paper. My handwriting deteriorated with each page. By the 5th pad, it looked like a ransom note written during an earthquake. By the 6th, I could barely read my own words. Phase 3, something something public something. Very strategic. I crossed out lawyer first 3 times, circled evidence compilation. Drew arrows connecting phases like I was planning a documentary shoot, which I suppose I was, just a different kind. Phase 1, show them the film, make them watch themselves. Phase 2, the house, already transferred to Delphine. Let them learn their prize was gone before they even started. Phase 3, public exposure, community, social media. Let everyone see what they are. My hand cramped. I switched to typing, then back to writing. 40 years of storyboarding didn't disappear just because your subject was your own daughter. The bedroom camera. I needed one more angle, one final piece of insurance. At 1:45 p.m., I stood in their bedroom with a stepladder, screwdriver between my teeth, and a camera the size of a quarter in my palm. The air vent above the dresser opened easily. I'd designed this house. I knew every access point. Gravel crunched in the driveway. My heart stopped. Priscilla's car. Early. The 2 p.m. appointment, canceled, moved. I grabbed the ladder, folded it halfway, then heard her footsteps on the porch. No time. The closet. I scrambled inside, wedged myself between hanging clothes and a shoe rack that probably cost more than my monthly pension. 37 pairs of shoes. I counted them while my knee screamed against the hard floor. 40 minutes in a closet surrounded by my daughter's footwear. For someone claiming financial hardship, she had enough shoes to open a boutique. The irony wasn't lost on me, even while my knee was actively trying to secede from my body. The bedroom door opened. I know we're late on the payment, I know. Priscilla's voice, phone to ear, pacing just feet from where I hid. We'll have it next month. My own phone vibrated in my pocket. I pressed it against my chest, suffocating the sound. Sweat ran down my face, my shirt soaked through. Because we're selling property, a house, worth $400,000. I just need you to... Her voice rose, frustration bleeding through. It's my father's house. I'm not stealing. We're taking care of him and... Silence. Then, quieter, defeated. Please, just 2 more months. We've been good customers for... More silence. Fine. Yes, I understand. Goodbye. The bedroom clock showed 2:17 p.m., then 2:25, 2:33. Each minute stretched like film stuck in a projector. My knee stopped screaming and went numb. Worse somehow. At 2:50, she left. Back downstairs, out the front door, car starting, gone. I gave it 5 minutes, then crawled out of the closet like a geriatric burglar, finished installing the camera with hands that shook so badly I dropped the screwdriver twice. My fingers worked on autopilot, muscle memory from decades of rigging equipment in impossible places. Back in the garage by 3:30, ice pack strapped to my knee with duct tape, I pulled up the footage I'd captured while hiding. Priscilla's phone call, the creditor. 17 calls this week, she'd said to Silas at lunch earlier. I'd found out about that lunch later. Screen Door Restaurant. His credit card declined. I found out later his card was declined at Screen Door. Screen Door! You know your financial situation is desperate when you can't afford chicken and waffles in Portland. That's not broke. That's a cry for help. The bedroom camera feed glowed on my monitor now. 4 screens in quad split. Living room, kitchen, garage entrance, master bedroom. My entire house under surveillance, every angle covered. I rewound to the closet incident. Watch myself scramble and hide. An old man trapped and terrified. Never again, I muttered. My phone buzzed. Priscilla. Dad, can we talk tonight? I feel like things are weird since your walk the other night. I want to clear the air. I stared at it. Read it 3 times. Another text. Maybe we could order Thai from that place you like? My treat. 7:30. The monitor showed 4 empty rooms. The planning documents spread across my desk. Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3. The whiskey glass I'd poured hours ago, still untouched. I typed, Thai sounds good, 7:30. Then opened my editing software, created a new project file, title, Family Values, A Study in Betrayal. The cursor blinked in the empty timeline. I dragged the first clip into position. November 28th. Silas and the lawyer. 47 minutes of raw footage began to load. My hand didn't shake anymore. Friday morning, 7 a.m. I'd filled 6 legal pads and consumed enough coffee to fuel a film crew. The documentary was taking shape. Professional titles, timestamps, commentary overlays positioned between clips like chapter breaks. I'd created documentaries that won regional Emmy Awards that weren't this well edited. Apparently, nothing motivates perfectionism quite like revenge. I color-corrected my daughter's betrayal like it was going to Sundance. My eyes burned, glasses pushed up on my forehead, squinting at dual monitors, cut, splice, adjust audio levels. The work felt automatic, hands moving through sequences I'd performed 10,000 times. Title card in clean sans serif, Family Values, A Study in Betrayal. Production credits below, directed by Gideon Pierce. Between clips, black screens with white text, subject discusses fraudulent medical documentation. Timeline, 72 hours before planned filing. An old external hard drive caught my eye, labeled Priscilla Growing Up in my wife's handwriting from years ago. I clicked it by accident, or maybe not by accident. The screen filled with a 21-year-old Priscilla, college graduation, cap and gown, hugging me, laughing. I love you, Dad. You made this possible. My hand froze on the mouse. 3 years ago. Post-surgery. My knee, the complications, the infection that nearly killed me. Priscilla in my living room, bringing soup, adjusting pillows, checking my medication schedule with the precision of a nurse. Dad, you scared me. When they said complications, her voice breaking, trying to hide tears. I'm tougher than I look, past me had said. I know, but you're not invincible, and you're all I... She'd kissed my forehead, genuinely tender. We can't lose you. I rested my forehead on the desk. 30 seconds, shoulders shaking, then sat up, wiped my face, closed the file. Back to the present footage. Same Priscilla, different woman, discussing nursing homes with cold efficiency. Maybe she could change back. Maybe this was just Silas's influence. Maybe... The bedroom camera notification popped up. 4 p.m., motion detected. I clicked the feed. Silas, alone, on phone. Monday, baby, I told you, by Wednesday we'll have full control. A woman's voice tinny through speakerphone. And Priscilla. What about her? You said after this we will. Once the house sells, once things settle, she's a temporary inconvenience. You know that. You've said that before. This time it's real. I need her cooperation for the guardianship. Keeps it looking family motivated. After, She can't prove anything. We split the proceeds, you and I start fresh. What about the old man? Silas laughed. Actually laughed. What about him? He'll be in Meadowbrook, won't even know his own name soon. The evaluations show progressive dementia. By the time anyone questions it, if anyone questions it, it's done. You're sure he suspects nothing? He's 73. He watches nature documentaries and takes walks. He barely knows what year it is. I hit record, saved the file, added it to the documentary timeline, final sequence before credits. No more doubt, no more wavering. At 1 p.m. I drove downtown, SW 5th Avenue, Morrison Building, 23rd floor. Sherman Wolf's office had floor-to-ceiling windows showing gray Portland stretched out below. His espresso machine probably cost more than my first car. Cappuccino? He offered. I was running on 48 hours of gas station coffee in spite. I accepted. The foam had a leaf pattern. Even my lawyer's coffee was judging me. Sherman watched the footage on my laptop. His face shifted through expressions: surprise, shock, disgust. At the guardianship forgery discussion, he actually swore under his breath. Gideon, this is extraordinary, and I mean that in the worst possible way. Can they actually do it? The guardianship? With forged medical evaluations? Technically, if the judge doesn't look closely, yes, it happens more than you'd think. And if I show them this? He paused the video, turned to face me. You're asking if it's legally admissible or if it's leverage. Both. Admissible, yes. Oregon's a one-party consent state for recordings. You made them in your own home, clean. He whistled low. Leverage? This is a nuclear option. They'll have no choice but to back down. No lawyer would touch their case after seeing this. What if they don't back down? Then we file counterpetition, submit this as evidence, and they're looking at fraud charges, possibly elder abuse charges. This isn't just civil, it's criminal territory. Good. Sherman cleaned his glasses. Nervous habit. Put them back on. Gideon, I have to ask, are you sure you want to do this? This is your daughter. Watch the November 28th footage, then ask me again. He did. Afterwards, he just nodded. I'll prepare the paperwork, just in case. Back in the garage by 3 p.m., I finished the edit. 47 minutes, perfect runtime. Everything documented, time-stamped, contextualized. At 5 p.m., I called Priscilla. Hey, Dad, everything okay? You sound... I'm fine. I was thinking tomorrow's Friday. Why don't you and Silas come over for movie night, like we used to do? Pause. Movie night? I've been going through old family videos, digitizing them. Thought we could watch together. Popcorn, the whole thing. That sounds really nice, actually. After this week, I could use some family time. 7 o'clock? 7's perfect. Should we bring anything? Just yourselves. I'll handle everything. Dad, I'm glad you called. I know things have been tense. Tomorrow we'll clear everything up, I promise. Her voice softened. Good. Love you, Dad. My throat tightened. See you at 7. I didn't say it back. By 6:30, the living room was ready. Laptop connected to the 65-inch TV. External speakers for clarity. Wine glasses arranged on the coffee table. Cheese plate, brie, crackers, grapes. I arranged the cheese plate like I was hosting a book club. Brie, crackers, grapes. The absurdity wasn't lost on me. Welcome to movie night. We'll be viewing evidence of your planned fraud. Please enjoy the appetizers. Hidden cameras positioned to record their reactions. Full circle. Watching them watch themselves. The documentary title screen glowed on the TV. Paused. Ready? 6:45. A car in the driveway. Early. Of course she'd be early. Excited, hopeful, thinking we were mending fences. Doorbell. I stood there, remote in hand, thumb hovering over play. Footsteps. Dad, we're here. We brought wine. The door opened. They still had their key. Priscilla entered first, holding a bottle of red. Smiling. Actually smiling. For a heartbeat, she looked 25 again. That laugh at Thai dinner last night. Genuine, like she used to be. She'd brought my favorite dishes without asking. Remembered the extra peanut sauce. Hugged me when leaving. I miss this. I miss us. For maybe 10 seconds I'd believed her. Then I'd remembered the recordings, the word burden. but for 10 seconds, I wanted to believe. Silas followed, checking his phone, barely looking up. This better be good. I'm missing a game. Priscilla elbowed him. Be nice. This is sweet. She kissed my cheek. I'm so glad you planned this. My finger tightened on the remote. Sit. You're going to want to sit down. Something in my voice made her pause. Dad? Sit down, Priscilla. Both of you. The movie's about to start. Silas dropped onto the couch, still on his phone. What are we watching? Old boring footage of you fishing or something? I sat in my recliner, across from them, watching. Something like that. My thumb pressed play. The screen went black. White text appeared. Family Values, A Study in Betrayal, directed by Gideon Pierce. Runtime, 47 minutes. Priscilla's smile faded. Dad, what is this? The first clip began. November 28th. Silas and the lawyer. Forged medical documents spread across my kitchen table. Silas's phone dropped from his hand. The documentary started with home movies. 8-year-old Priscilla on a bicycle. My hand steadying the seat. Her wobbling, laughing, shrieking when I let go. Running beside her until she found her balance. The camera work was shaky. My wife filming. Both of us focused on our daughter learning to ride. Oh my God! Priscilla's voice cracked. I remember this. I remember that day. You cried when I let go, I said. Said I promised not to. But you ran beside me anyway. Caught me when I fell. I did. She was tearing up. Silas barely looked at the screen, still checking his phone. 3 more minutes, Christmas morning, age 12, high school graduation, her wedding to Marcus, before Silas, before any of this. My daughter, young and hopeful and loved, then the edit cut sharp. Black screen. 2 seconds of silence. The audio started before the image. Silas's voice, crystal clear through my living room speakers. He's driving me crazy. After Christmas, he's going to a nursing home. Priscilla's wine glass froze halfway to her mouth. The video appeared. My kitchen. Wednesday night. Silas and Priscilla at the table I'd inherited from my grandmother. On screen, Priscilla's voice. Keep your voice down. But yeah, I called Meadowbrook yesterday. They have openings in January. She stood abruptly. What is this? Dad, what? Keep watching. Silas's phone slipped from his fingers. Turn it off. Turn it the fuck off. No! Priscilla lunged for the TV, jabbing the power button. Nothing. She grabbed the remote from the coffee table, pressed every button. The documentary continued. She looked at the remote, then at me. I held up mine. The real one. I'm a cinematographer. You think I don't know how to control a screening? Silas stood, moved toward the TV. I'll unplug. Locked, I said. Child safety cable lock. $23 at Home Depot. Best investment I'd made all year. On screen, the footage rolled. November 15th. Kitchen again. Priscilla and Silas discussing house values, nursing home costs, my pension. Timestamps in the corner. GPS coordinates below. Professional titles faded in. Subject discusses financial motivation. Silas's face drained from tan to gray to something greenish. This is illegal. You can't record people without one-party consent state, Oregon law. I can record anything in my own home. You're taking this out of context. There are 47 minutes of context. We're on minute 18. Sit down. The documentary continued its systematic destruction. November the 28th, the footage. Silas and the lawyer. Forged medical documents spread across my table. Lawyer's voice. The medical assessment is dated correctly. Silas on screen. Backdated to September. Shows progressive dementia. Textbook presentation. Real Silas hyperventilated, loosening his collar. I need air. Then new footage appeared. Different location. The Marriott on Nido Parkway. Lobby camera angle. November 15th, 2:30 p.m. Silas entering with a blonde woman. Timestamp. GPS coordinates. The angle shifted. My camera, positioned in a planter, showing them kissing by the elevator. Priscilla inhaled sharply. Who is that? Silas? Who the fuck is that? Priscilla, I can explain. That's not... Not what? She screamed, through her wine glass. It shattered against the wall, red splash like blood. I can see you. I can see... I didn't move from my recliner. Her name is Georgiana. They meet Tuesdays and Thursdays, usually room 447. They have a regular arrangement. Priscilla turned on him. You said you were meeting clients. The documentary played on. More footage. Georgiana and Silas at dinner, in his car. November 28th, the phone conversation I'd recorded from the bedroom camera. Silas's voice through speakers. Once I control the old man's money, she's served her purpose. Georgiana's voice. You promise? Silas. After the guardianship, I just need her cooperation. Then she's temporary. Priscilla made a sound. Not quite a word, not quite a scream. She dropped to her knees, not to help Silas, who'd slid to the floor, but in genuine collapse. At 8:27 p.m., Silas's phone buzzed on the floor where he'd dropped it. His 8:30 call. The screen lit up. Georgiana, Mobile. He didn't reach for it. I appreciated the irony. For once, he wasn't taking her call. The documentary rolled to credits. Black screen, white text. Directed by Gideon Pierce. Runtime, 47 minutes. I stood, walked to the window, pulled the curtain aside. Rain hammered the street outside. That concludes the director's cut. Priscilla looked up through tears. How could you? How could you do this? How could I document what you were doing? Or how could you plan to destroy your father's life? We weren't going to... Meadowbrook, November 9th. You called, asked about memory care availability, gave my name, said I'd be transitioning after the holidays. I have the call recording. Silas pulled himself up using the coffee table. What do you want? Money? We'll stop. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., this extended version with additional footage you haven't seen, uploads to Facebook, YouTube, your workplace's social media, the neighborhood group, Priscilla's real estate company page, Silas's professional network. Unless what? I turned back from the window. We negotiate. The brie had fully liquefied by now. $40 cheese reduced to glossy puddle. Perfect metaphor for the evening. Everything expensive and carefully arranged, melting into chaos. Priscilla crawled toward me, grabbed my pant leg. I stepped back. Daddy, please, I know how this looks, but don't call me that. Don't call me Daddy. You lost that right when you called Meadowbrook. Silas paced now, hands through his hair, leaving it wild. This won't hold up in court. Surveillance without consent. Oregon Revised Statute 165-40. One-party consent. I don't need permission to record in my own home. A judge will... I've already consulted an attorney, Sherman Wolf, downtown. Every frame is admissible. Would you like his number? You'll need a lawyer. Priscilla's voice broke. We'll cancel everything. We'll move out. Move out of my house? How generous. We made a mistake. We were desperate. The debts, the pressure. $45,000 on your credit cards. $67,000 from Silas's crypto losses. I know. I've seen your mail. You went through our mail. You went through my finances. You planned to control my medical care, my money, my life. I looked at envelopes. We're not equivalent. Silas stopped pacing, went still. His breathing steadied. Face changed from panic to something else. Calculation. A slow smile spread. He pulled out his phone, swiped with deliberate slowness, held it out to me. You can't use this. I took the phone, read. My hand gripped the chair arm, knuckles white, medical evaluations, 2 doctors, official letterhead, notarized, all stating Gideon Pierce, age 73, progressive dementia, impaired judgment, requires guardianship, dated over the past 3 months. Those are forgeries. Prove it. Silas's smile widened. The doctors are real. The signatures look real. The notary stamp is real. Everything's real except the examinations. I sat down slowly, first uncontrolled movement all evening. I filed preliminary paperwork Wednesday. Started the guardianship process. He took his phone back. Your recordings, paranoid delusions, elderly man with dementia, monitoring his family obsessively, creating conspiracy theories. No court will believe. Monday morning, 9 a.m., I'm filing the petition, Judge Harrison. By Tuesday, I'll have temporary guardianship. Your recordings, sealed as evidence of your mental state. My throat went dry. I'll upload the videos tonight. Go ahead. I'll claim you doctored them, fabricated them. You're a filmmaker. You have the skills. A mentally ill old man, creating elaborate fake videos to punish the family trying to help him. He grabbed Priscilla's arm. We're done here. Get your purse. But now. She looked between us. What happens Monday? We win. Come on. She turned back to me, voice breaking. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't know about the other woman. I didn't. Stop apologizing to him. Silas dragged her to the door. It slammed. Picture frame on the wall rattled, fell, glass cracked. I sat in the destroyed living room, documentary frozen on screen, rain filling the silence. Picked up the picture frame. Young Priscilla cracked through her face. My phone buzzed. Unknown number? Mr. Pierce, this is Georgiana Whitfield. I think we should talk. I stared at the text. Another message appeared. I saw the video files you sent me last week. I have information you need about what Silas is planning. Last week, right? Wednesday, I'd sent clips to her, the affair footage. Let her see what Silas said about her, about everyone. My fingers moved. How did you get this number? From Silas's phone. He doesn't know. Can we meet tomorrow? I can help you. He betrayed me too. The living room smelled like spilled wine and liquefied cheese. Broken glass glittered on the hardwood. When Silas dragged Priscilla out, her phone had fallen from her purse, bounced twice. Cracked screen? Of course it did. Nothing survived tonight intact. It lay there lighting up with notifications. Instagram, Facebook. Normal life, still happening somewhere. Just not here. I looked at Georgiana's message again. 40 years documenting conflicts, and I'd missed this. Silas wasn't just greedy or desperate. He was smart. Ruthless enough to file real legal documents with fake medical evidence. Willing to destroy everyone, including Priscilla, to protect himself. The medical forgeries changed everything. If a judge saw those evaluations before seeing my videos, the videos became evidence of dementia, paranoid elderly man, filming his caring family. My phone buzzed again. Delphine from Barcelona. Dad, are you okay? Please tell me it went well. I typed back, complicated. Call you tomorrow. That's not reassuring. I know. Trust me anyway. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Finally, I love you. Be careful. Another text. Georgiana. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., Powell's Books, City of Books location, 3rd floor, blue room, come alone. I typed, where and when? The response came before I could send it. Bring your lawyer if you have one. What I know, you'll want legal representation to hear. Then, Silas doesn't know I copied his files. Everything. The real estate fraud, the money laundering, the other forgeries. He's not just stealing from you. My pulse quickened. How many others? 17 clients, over 2 years, $1.3 million. I have proof. I stood. Knee protesting, but adrenaline overrode the pain. Walked to the window. Outside, rain had slowed to drizzle. Their car was long gone. 17 clients, real estate fraud, money laundering, my phone in my hand, Sherman Wolf's number. He answered on the second ring. Gideon, it's nearly 10. What? I need you, tonight. I have a new witness. She has evidence you won't believe. Silence, then. How certain are you about this? She was Silas's mistress. She's been documenting his crimes for 2 years. Jesus, where are you? Home. Can you come here? Give me 40 minutes. I hung up, looked at the TV, still frozen on the documentary's final frame. Silas's face, confident, discussing fraud. Another text from Georgiana. He made a mistake. He thought I loved him. I'm a financial analyst. I was documenting everything, just like you. I allowed myself a small smile. Then reality hit. Monday. Less than 36 hours. Silas would file the guardianship petition. Judge Harrison. Was he corrupt, connected, or was Silas bluffing? I pulled up my laptop, started searching. Judge Mitchell Harrison, Multnomah County Circuit Court. Appointed 2019. No obvious scandals, clean record. Family law cases mostly. But owes me a favor, suggested something. Campaign contributions, personal connection, or pure fiction to intimidate me. I made coffee, strong. My hands shook pouring it. The mug said, World's Best Grandpa. I set it down without drinking. The documentary footage was backed up in 3 locations. Cloud storage, external drive, Sherman's office. Even if Silas somehow got my equipment, the evidence existed. But he didn't need to destroy evidence, just discredit it. 43 minutes later, headlights in my driveway, Sherman's Mercedes. He came in looking like he'd thrown on clothes in 30 seconds. No tie, jacket over sweater, first time I'd seen him disheveled. "Show me what you have." I pulled up my laptop, played him the screening. He watched in silence, face cycling through expressions I recognized from earlier. Shock, disgust, professional calculation. When it ended, "This is devastating. Why didn't we lead with this in court?" "We were going to. Then Silas pulled this." I showed him screenshots of the medical evaluations. Sherman put on his reading glasses, read carefully. "These are good forgeries, really good. Can we prove they're fake?" "Maybe. The doctors are real. I can call them, ask if they examined you. But if Silas prepared them for this, he might have covered that angle too." "How?" "Stolen prescription pads, forged signatures. It happens more than you'd think in elder fraud cases." He looked up. "But you said you have a new witness?" I showed him Georgiana's texts. He read, eyebrows rising. 17 clients, 1.3 million. She says she has proof. If that's true, he sat back. We're not talking civil fraud anymore. Wire fraud, money laundering, federal crimes. Meaning? Meaning we bring in the FBI, the guardianship case becomes irrelevant. Silas won't be filing anything Monday because he'll be under investigation. My chest loosened slightly. "You believe her? Financial analyst who documented everything? That's either the best news we could get or an elaborate trap." He looked at me. "You trust her?" "I sent her the affair footage last week. Silas told her I was a sick old man who needed guardianship. That after it was approved, they'd be together. She believed him until she saw the videos." "Hell hath no fury," Sherman murmured. "When are you meeting her?" "Tomorrow, 10 a.m., Powell's." "I'm coming," she said alone. "Gideon, you're 73. Silas has proven he's dangerous. I'm coming." I didn't argue. Sherman left at 11:30. I sat in the living room until past midnight. Didn't clean up the broken glass. Didn't write the fallen picture frame. Just sat, thinking. Priscilla's face when she saw the affair footage, genuine shock, genuine pain. She'd believed in Silas, believed they had a future after stealing my life. When Silas dragged her out, she'd stopped in the doorway, turned back, whispered, "I used to watch that video, the bicycle one. When things got bad with Silas, with money, I'd watch it and remember when we..." Her voice had broken completely. 5 seconds where she wasn't the scheming daughter, just someone who'd lost her way and couldn't find back. Then Silas yanked her through the door. At 12:47 a.m., I finally moved. Cleaned up the glass, righted the picture frame, put it face down on the shelf, couldn't look at it cracked, made a list. Tomorrow's tasks: meet Georgiana, assess her evidence, determine if we can use it, call the FBI if warranted, file counter-petition regardless. Get my own medical evaluation scheduled, emergency appointment, prove competency. Contact Priscilla. One last chance to walk away before this got worse. That last item I crossed out. Wrote again. Crossed out again. At 1:15 a.m., my phone buzzed. Priscilla. "Dad, I know you won't believe me, but I never wanted to hurt you. Silas said it was the only way, that you'd be taken care of, that everyone would be okay. I was stupid. I was desperate. I'm sorry." I stared at the message for 5 minutes. Typed, "You have until Sunday night. Walk away from Silas. Tell me everything he's planning. Help me stop him. Last chance." 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared. "He'll destroy me." "He's going to anyway. You saw the footage. You're temporary." Long pause. Then, "I don't know if I can." "Then we're done." I set the phone down, poured the cold coffee down the sink, went to bed, didn't sleep. Just lay there watching headlights cross the ceiling, thinking about bicycle rides and wine glasses and daughters who used to be different people. At 6 a.m., I gave up, showered, dressed, made fresh coffee, found Priscilla's phone on the floor where she'd dropped it, picked it up. The screen was shattered, but it powered on. Notifications everywhere, including text to Silas from yesterday afternoon. "I can't do this anymore. We should stop before it's too late. My father doesn't deserve this." His responses, "Too late now. We're committed. Your father or your future. Choose. If you back out, I'll make sure everyone knows you planned this." I set her phone on the kitchen counter where she'd find it, then checked my watch. 3 hours until Powell's. My phone buzzed. Sherman, I'm picking you up at 9:30. We go together. Another text. Unknown number. Not Georgiana this time. Mr. Pierce, this is Dr. Elaine Chen. I received an unusual request yesterday to backdate a medical evaluation for you claiming dementia. I declined. The physician who called me used forged credentials. I've reported it to the medical board. I thought you should know someone is attempting to fabricate your medical history. I sat down hard. The forgeries weren't perfect. Silas had made mistakes. One more text. Georgiana, bring a thumb drive. What I'm giving you won't fit an email. And Gideon, thank you for showing me who he really is. See you at 10. I finished my coffee, put on my jacket, checked that my knee brace was secure. Phase 1 had been the documentary. Psychological warfare. Phase 2 was about to begin. And I was bringing unexpected artillery. 3 a.m. Still in yesterday's clothes. Coffee going cold in mugs I didn't remember making. The documentary image glowed on my monitor. Silas's confident face, frozen mid-lie. I'd been staring at it for an hour. At 6, I gave up pretending I'd sleep. Video call to Barcelona. Delphine answered on first ring, already dressed. 3 p.m. her time. Dad, look at me. When did you last sleep? I'm fine. I just need to... You look like hell. What happened after the screening? I told her. The medical forgeries, the guardianship petition, Silas's threat. Her face went pale. Can he do that? Can those even... They look real enough to fool a judge maybe. I'm coming home. You don't need to. I'm already booking. Her fingers moved off screen, clicking. I land Sunday 4 p.m. Don't argue. My throat tightened. Thank you. We're family, the real kind, not the kind that forges documents. 9 hours later, I sat in Powell's books. 3rd floor, Blue Room. We met in the Blue Room. Powell's is a Portland institution, city of books they call it. Seemed appropriate to plan a man's destruction surrounded by literature. I'm sure there's a Greek tragedy in here somewhere, about fathers and daughters and betrayal. I didn't have time to browse for it. Georgiana arrived exactly at 10. Professional attire, designer bag, looking like a successful businesswoman. Not the other woman. A financial analyst who'd been played. She placed a USB drive on the table before sitting. Power move. Mr. Pierce, I'm Georgiana Whitfield. The woman in the video. One of the women in the video. Your daughter's the other one he's betraying. Why help me? She opened her laptop. Because I'm a financial analyst at Henderson & Associates, I analyze risk, detect fraud. He told me he was a legitimate investment advisor, borrowed $23,000 from me for what he called bridge financing for a client deal. Her fingers moved across keys, pulling up spreadsheets. I ran his information for due diligence last month. Want to know what I found? His real business model. The spreadsheet filled her screen. She pulled up a spreadsheet that would make an FBI forensic accountant weep with joy. Color-coded tabs, pivot tables, conditional formatting. She documented Silas's crimes like she was preparing for a TED Talk on financial fraud. 17 clients, elderly mostly, convinced them to invest in guaranteed returns. Took their money, gave them fake statements showing growth, paid old clients with new client money. Ponzi scheme. Textbook. I've been documenting everything for 3 months. I was planning to go to the SEC. She looked at me. Then you sent me those video files. Her phone buzzed. She read the screen, face changing. Oh, he's stupider than I thought. What? She turned the phone to show me. Email notification, court calendar. He filed the petition this morning, 8:47 a.m. I just got the notification. My coffee cup stopped halfway to my mouth. This morning? He said Monday? He lied. Shocking, I know. She scrolled. Hearing is Tuesday, 10 a.m. Judge William Harrison. 72 hours. I have 72 hours. She closed her laptop. We have 72 hours. You're not doing this alone anymore. I pulled out the folder from my messenger bag. Property transfer documents. Dated October 15th. Notarized. Slid them across the table. Her eyes scanned, widened slightly. Property transfer, October 15th. To Delphine Santiago, daughter. I transferred it 2 months ago. I knew something was wrong, didn't know what yet. so I protected the biggest asset. Does Silas know? He knows I mentioned the house last night. He doesn't know it's not mine anymore. Her laugh was sharp, appreciative. He's been planning to steal a house you don't own. She got it immediately. I'd spent 2 months feeling clever about that move. She appreciated it in 5 seconds. Good ally to have. Sherman Wolf's home office at 11. Working weekends for this. Documents spread across his desk like battle plans. The medical evaluations. He adjusted his reading glasses. I had my investigator check. Dr. Marcus Brennan, licensed in Oregon, doesn't exist. Dr. Sarah Chen, geriatric specialist, exists, but she's in San Diego and never saw you. The notary stamp, purchased online, belongs to someone different. Proof of forgery, proof of multiple felonies, document fraud, elder abuse, attempted financial exploitation. He looked at me. If we can prove Priscilla knew, she knew. My voice was quiet. Then she's facing charges too. Are you prepared for that? I stared at the counter petition, 63 pages. My daughter's name appeared 47 times. I'd counted. Sherman waited. Georgiana watched me. She's my daughter, I said. She tried to steal your house, your money, your freedom. Georgiana's voice was professional, detached. I know what she tried to do. I'm the one who documented it. She wasn't always this person. Sherman's voice gentled. Maybe not. But she's this person now, and this person is committing crimes. I signed. My hand shook slightly. When do we file? Monday, 8 a.m. I'll be at the courthouse when they open. My phone rang as we left. Unknown number. Mr. Pierce? Woman's voice. Professional. This is Detective Sarah Mitchell, Portland Police Financial Crimes Unit. We received an anonymous tip about fraudulent guardianship filing in your name. Do you have a few minutes to talk? I looked at Georgiana. She shook her head slightly. Not her call. Sherman mouthed, "Speaker." I pressed the button. Yes, detective. I have quite a bit more than a few minutes, and I have evidence. Evidence of what, specifically? Elder abuse, financial fraud, document forgery, a 3-month documentary film, if you're interested. I'm a cinematographer. I document things. Pause on the line. Mr. Pierce, I'm very interested. Can you come to the station? I'd like to bring in my sergeant. I checked my watch. 1:47 p.m. I can be there in 30 minutes. I'll bring my attorney. Who else should we expect? A witness, financial analyst. She has evidence of 17 additional victims. Longer pause. 17? Mr. Pierce, what exactly are we talking about here? Ponzi scheme, 2 years, $1.3 million. I wasn't his only target, just the one who filmed everything. Come now, Mr. Pierce. I'm calling my sergeant right now. Sherman grabbed his briefcase. This just became a criminal investigation. Georgiana stood. Good. I've been waiting 3 months to talk to actual police. I looked at the counter petition packet still on Sherman's desk. We still file Monday? Sherman headed for the door. We file Monday, but after this police interview, we might not need to. They might arrest him first. Sunday afternoon. Portland Airport arrivals. Delphine emerged through sliding doors, dropped her bags, hugged me hard. I stiffened, then melted into it. Rosa Mendez, her friend, Oregon licensed lawyer, shook my hand. Sharp eyes, assessing. In the car, Delphine sat behind me, hand on my shoulder the whole drive home. At the house, she saw the garage workshop, the monitors, the cameras covering every wall. She stopped in the doorway, hand over mouth. Dad, you did all this yourself? I nodded. She hugged me again. Sunday evening, we created the public version, 15 minutes condensed from 47. Gideon, Georgiana, Delphine, crowding around the editing workstation. Georgiana was ruthless. This, cut this, 2 inside baseball, this, perfect soundbite. The affair footage, I started. Keep it short, 10 seconds. Enough to show he's a liar, not enough to be salacious. We're not making revenge porn, we're making evidence. Delphine leaned over my shoulder. Title? What do we call it? Family Values, a study in modern betrayal. Documentary style, professional, not sensational. Perfect, Georgiana nodded. Sounds academic, makes it harder to dismiss as emotional attack. When do we publish? Delphine asked. Monday morning, 9 a.m., when people check email at work, maximum spread. Georgiana smiled slightly. You've thought about this. I've thought about everything. Monday at 9:03 a.m., I pressed publish on YouTube, shared to Facebook, the Selwood Moreland Neighborhood Group, LinkedIn. By noon, 3,000 views. By evening, 15,000. Tuesday morning, 45,000 views in Portland alone. By Tuesday morning, my documentary had more views than videos of cats falling off furniture. 45,000 people in Portland watched my family implode. I'd finally achieved viral success. My wife would have laughed. She always said I should have done more public work. Not like this, honey, I thought. Definitely not like this. Monday, 2:47 p.m., Georgiana forwarded an email. Subject, immediate termination, ethical violation. Silas fired. Tuesday morning, Priscilla's former colleague texted her, they're letting you go. HR meeting at 10. 3 clients had called, saw the video, requested different agents. Tuesday afternoon, they tried to sue for defamation. Their lawyer watched the video, all 15 minutes. This is factual documentation. You can't sue for libel when it's true. I can't help you. They paid him $300 to learn they'd recorded their own crimes. Money well spent. Tuesday at 6 p.m., my doorbell rang. Priscilla stood on my porch, alone, disheveled. She'd lost weight in 4 days. Dark circles, trembling. She came inside, collapsed on the couch where she'd watched the documentary Friday night. After David left, my ex, I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. 41 years old, divorced, broke, working 60-hour weeks just to make minimum payments on credit cards he left me with. I sat across from her, silent. Silas was charming, confident. He said he could fix everything. He had plans, investment strategies. He made me feel safe. Safe enough to betray your father? She flinched. I know how it sounds. But he made it seem reasonable. You're retired, living in this big house alone. We were drowning. He said it was fair. A rebalancing. Fair? Forging dementia documents is fair? I didn't know about those until Friday, I swear. The guardianship, yes, I knew. But I thought we'd just manage your finances, help you, not lock you up and steal everything. You called Meadowbrook. I have the recording. You asked about memory care units. She whispered, I know. Long silence. Rain started outside. I lost myself. Somewhere between the divorce and now, I lost who I was. The person who would have protected you. The daughter you raised. That daughter is gone. I know she is. I killed her. She sobbed. And I'm sorry. I'm so fucking sorry, Dad. More silence. I wanted to comfort her. Didn't move. Please, take down the video. I'll sign anything. I'll disappear. You'll never have to see me again. Just please stop destroying my life. I waited a long time before speaking. You had a choice. Every step. Every conversation with Silas about my house, my money, my freedom. Every time you chose him over me. You had a choice. I was desperate. So was I. When I found out my daughter wanted to lock me in a facility and steal my home, I was desperate too. I chose to document, to protect myself. You chose betrayal. She stood, defeated. Then I guess we're done. We were done when you called Meadowbrook. She left without another word. I sat in my car for 20 minutes afterward, hands on the wheel, didn't start the engine, just sat. Wednesday morning, 6 a.m. My phone rang again. Priscilla, frantic. Dad, please, have you seen Silas? He's not answering. He's gone. What? His apartment is empty. His car is gone. Everything's gone. I sent Sherman's investigator. Confirmed. Apartment cleared out. Clothes gone. Laptop gone. Bank account emptied. Last seen Tuesday afternoon. Gas station near I-5 South. Heading toward California border. I sat in my garage, staring at Silas's frozen image on the monitor. What did I do? What if he called Sherman? We need to find him, now. Missing or fled? I don't know. Priscilla thinks she's worried he might hurt himself. Or he's running, Mexico probably. What if she's right? What if I pushed him to... Stop. You didn't push him anywhere. He committed crimes. He's facing consequences. If he ran, that's his choice. If he... did something else, that's also his choice. Then why do I feel like I did? Sherman's voice gentled. Because you're human, and she was your daughter, and this is messier than you planned. Wednesday, 11 a.m. My phone rang. Detective Mitchell. Mr. Pierce, we have an update on Silas Foster. My stomach dropped. You found him? Not exactly. We found his car, abandoned at a motel in Ashland, near the California border. And Silas? Gone. But, Mr. Pierce, there's something else. The motel clerk reported seeing him with another person Tuesday night. Male, late 50s, gray hair, expensive suit. Who? We don't know, but they reviewed security footage. The man arrived in a black Escalade Oregon plates. Foster got in the vehicle with him willingly. They drove north. North, not south. North, back toward Portland. My hand tightened on the phone. I don't understand. If he was running, Mr. Pierce, did Silas Foster have any connections we should know about? Business partners? The kind who might help him disappear? Or silence him? The room went cold. You think someone? I think we need to find him. Soon. Whatever he was involved in, it might be bigger than we thought. Georgiana appeared in the doorway, laptop open, face pale. Gideon, you need to see this. I was reviewing his files. The 17 clients he defrauded, they're connected. Same retirement community. Same financial advisor recommended Silas. Same investment firm as initial contact. What does that mean? It means he wasn't working alone. The Ponzi scheme, it's part of something larger. Detective Mitchell's voice. Mr. Pierce, are you still there? I'm here. We're issuing a bolo. Be on the lookout. But between us, I don't think he ran. I think someone collected him. After hanging up, I stared at the frozen image. Silas's confident face from November. Delphine entered. Dad, what's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost. Not a ghost, something worse. What? I thought I was hunting one man. I might have kicked a hornet's nest. Thursday morning, FBI field office. Detective Mitchell spread surveillance photos across the conference table. Silas at a bank, Silas at SeaTac ticket counter, Silas with a duffel bag. He emptied 3 client accounts Wednesday night, total $127,000. Georgiana sat beside me, her financial documents and evidence folders. I picked up a photo of Silas, first time he looked genuinely frightened. We tracked him to Seattle, Mitchell continued. He's attempting to board a flight to Mexico City, 3:47 p.m. departure. We'll have him in custody within hours. Sherman leaned forward. Federal charges? Wire fraud, identity theft, theft from elderly persons. He's looking at 4 to 8 years. I set the photo down. I just wanted to stop him from taking my house. Mitchell's expression softened. You stopped him from taking a lot more than that. These other victims, elderly people, most of them, they'll get justice because you documented everything. Will they get their money back? Some of it. Maybe. He spent most of it. Thursday evening, I watched Channel 8 News in my living room, Delphine beside me. Security footage showed Silas at the ticket counter, looking over his shoulder, cut to FBI agents approaching. His face registered shock, then something like relief. The perp walk, handcuffs, orange jumpsuit, head down, agents on either side. 38-year-old Portland financial advisor arrested on charges of wire fraud, identity theft. The news kept replaying his perp walk, 6 times in 10 minutes, each time from a different camera angle, multi-camera coverage, professional editing, good pacing. I'd taught him well, except I'd taught him documentary filmmaking, and he'd applied it to financial fraud. That's really him, Delphine whispered. I watched Silas in handcuffs. He looked smaller on TV. He looked scared. Good. But the word tasted wrong in my mouth. Delphine touched my arm. You did this, Dad. You stopped him. I kept watching. I keep thinking, what if I hadn't noticed? What if I'd trusted them? But you did notice. You protected yourself. Did I? Or did I just become something else? Friday morning, Multnomah County Courthouse. The gallery was full. Neighbors, reporters, curious observers. I sat front row, Sherman beside me, Delphine on my other side. Judge Harrison entered. Older, stern, clearly not the corrupt judge Silas had claimed to control. He read the guardianship petition, watched the 10-minute evidence compilation, removed his reading glasses, pinched the bridge of his nose, slammed the gavel. I've reviewed the petition. I've reviewed the medical evaluations. I've watched the video evidence. He glared at the empty defense table. Dr. Marcus Brennan doesn't exist. Dr. Sarah Chen never examined Mr. Pierce. The notary seal belongs to someone in Eugene who's never notarized a medical document. Pause. The courtroom was silent. This petition is not just denied. It's dismissed with prejudice and referred to the district attorney for prosecution of fraud and elder abuse. Another gavel slam. Mr. Pierce, I apologize on behalf of this court that you were subjected to this. You are clearly competent, and these accusations were malicious fabrications. I stood. Thank you, Your Honor. I hope whoever did this faces the full consequences of the law. He already has, Your Honor. He was arrested yesterday by the FBI. Outside, reporters swarmed Priscilla as she emerged with her lawyer. I watched from the courthouse window above. She read a prepared statement, voice shaking. I'm filing for divorce immediately. I had no knowledge of the extent of Silas's criminal activities. I was deceived and manipulated, as were his other victims. What about the guardianship petition against your father? I deeply regret my involvement. I was wrong. My father is a competent, intelligent man who protected himself from my terrible judgment. I betrayed him, and I'll have to live with that. Have you spoken to your father? She looked up at the courthouse window. Our eyes met through glass. She looked away first. No, and I don't expect to. What I did was unforgivable. Friday afternoon, I sorted mail at my kitchen counter, still in my suit from court. Official envelope, Oregon Department of Human Services. Adult Protective Services Division. I opened it standing. Read the first paragraph. Sat down heavily. Read it again. Based on viral video documentation showing extensive surveillance of family members, this office has opened an investigation under Oregon Revised Statute 441.10 regarding your capacity to safely maintain independent living, requiring psychiatric evaluation and home safety assessment within 30 days. Failure to comply may result in involuntary evaluation and protective services intervention. My hands trembled. I set the letter down, pushed it away, pulled it back. Called Sherman. He arrived within the hour, read the letter, face grave. I pulled up the viral video on my laptop, watched with new eyes, saw myself through a bureaucrat's lens. Elderly man, hidden cameras everywhere, elaborate revenge scheme, obsessive documentation. Oh God, I whispered. I look insane. Delphine put her hand on my shoulder. I was shaking. They're going to do exactly what Silas tried to do, I said. Sherman's voice was careful. They're going to verify you're competent, which you are. And if the evaluator sees the cameras, the files, what if they think I'm paranoid, obsessive? You were protecting yourself. Was I, or did I go too far? I looked at them both. When does protection become paranoia? When does justice become revenge? When does documentation become obsession? Sherman set the letter on the table. You'll pass the evaluation. I'll make sure. The context is, I'm a 73-year-old man who turned his house into a surveillance state because he didn't trust his own daughter. How does that look on paper? Delphine's voice was fierce. It looks like you were right not to trust her. Being right doesn't mean I was sane. My phone rang. Professional voice. Pleasant, detached. Mr. Pierce, this is Linda Kowalski, Oregon Department of Human Services. I've been assigned as your caseworker for the capacity evaluation. I'd like to schedule a home visit for next week. Of course. When works for you. Tuesday, 10 a.m., I'll need to tour your residence, interview you, review your medical history and living situation. I looked around my kitchen. The cameras still installed throughout the house, the garage workshop, the files. Tuesday is fine. I've reviewed the documentation that triggered our investigation, the video that was posted online. I have some questions about your recording equipment. I'm sure you do. After hanging up, I walked to my garage workshop, looked at the monitors, the cameras, the editing station. 40 years documenting the world. 3 months documenting my own destruction. I reached for the power button on the main monitor. Stopped. If I turned it off now, did that prove I was obsessed? Or did leaving it on? There was no right answer anymore. Early February. The letter arrived on a Tuesday. I opened it at the kitchen table. Delphine watched from across the room. After comprehensive evaluation, Mr. Pierce demonstrates full cognitive capacity, appropriate judgment, and ability to maintain independent living. Case closed. I closed my eyes, exhaled fully, handed it to Delphine without speaking. She read, smiled, hugged me. I received it but couldn't return the enthusiasm. She pinned it to the refrigerator with a magnet, next to an old family photo from 1995. 3 of us at the zoo, Priscilla's 8th birthday, all smiling. "You did it, Dad. You passed." "I proved I'm sane," I said quietly. "You are sane." "Am I?" Sane people don't turn their homes into surveillance operations. Sane people protect themselves from thieves. The line between protection and paranoia is thinner than I thought. February 4th. Federal Courthouse. Silas's sentencing. I sat in the gallery, didn't testify. The FBI had handled prosecution. Watched Silas enter an orange jumpsuit, handcuffed, thinner, defeated. His eyes scanned the gallery, found me, held my gaze for 5 seconds. No hatred in the look, just exhausted acknowledgement. The judge pronounced sentence. 4 years federal prison, restitution ordered in the amount of $1.4 million. Silas nodded slightly, expected it, accepted it, let out, didn't look back. I remained seated after others left, staring at the empty defendant's table. Georgiana appeared beside me. 4 years. He'll serve at least 3 with good behavior. Seems short for stealing $1.4 million. Federal guidelines. First offense. He cooperated. Did you get your money back? Your $23,000? Restitution order. I'll get maybe 20 cents on the dollar. Eventually. Maybe. I'm sorry. Don't be. I got something better than money. I gotta watch him fall. I didn't respond. Didn't feel the same satisfaction. Mid-February, Tuesday afternoon. I was shopping at Safeway on Division Street, reached for cereal, heard a familiar voice at the register, turned, saw Priscilla in a Safeway uniform, scanning groceries for an elderly woman. She hadn't seen me yet. I watched from the end of the aisle, her careful movements, polite customer service voice, exhaustion in her shoulders. She looked up. Our eyes met across the store. Neither of us moved. I turned, left my cart, walked out. Sat in my car in the parking lot for 20 minutes before driving home. Late February evening. 7 p.m. The doorbell rang. Priscilla stood on my porch in a winter coat. No makeup, holding nothing. "Can I come in? Just for a few minutes. I won't stay long." I stepped aside, didn't speak. Delphine emerged from the kitchen, froze, looked to me. 3 of us in the entryway. Nobody sitting. Priscilla talked standing. No preamble, complete honesty. "I started therapy in January, twice a week. Dr. Rebecca Morrison downtown. She specializes in people who've done terrible things to their families." I listened silently. I told her everything, the guardianship plan, the house, how I justified it, how Silas made it seem reasonable. She asked me one question I couldn't answer. "At what point did you stop seeing your father as a person and start seeing him as a problem to solve?" Long pause. Rain started outside. "I don't know when, but I did. I stopped seeing you. I saw the house, the money, the solution to my debts. I forgot you were my dad, the man who taught me to ride a bike, who paid for college, who came to every school play." Delphine's voice was quiet. "You remembered when it mattered to forget." "I did. You're right. I chose to forget." Priscilla looked at me. "I'm not asking you to forgive that. I'm just asking you to know. I remember now, and I'm sorry. Truly, completely sorry." After long silence, I spoke. "I cannot forgive you now. I understand. Maybe someday. I don't know. But I'm 73 years old. I might not have enough some days left." She nodded. Tears fell. "You will receive nothing from my estate. The house belongs to Delphine. My savings, my pension survivor benefits, everything. It all goes to your sister. You understand?" "Yes. This is not negotiable. This is permanent. Even if I forgave you tomorrow, this wouldn't change." "I understand. It's more than fair. It's more than I deserve." "It is." I looked at her directly. "You betrayed me. You planned to lock me away. You treated me like an obstacle. Actions have consequences." "They do, and this is mine." She stood. "Thank you for listening. I won't bother you again unless you reach out first." "Don't wait for that." Small nod. "I won't." The door closed behind her. Delphine turned to me. That was harsh. Was it? She tried to steal my freedom. She's also your daughter. She's suffering. She should suffer. She earned it. Did you see her, though? Really see her? She's broken, Dad. Completely broken. Good. Is it? Is that what you wanted? Because you don't look satisfied. You look sad. I had no response. You won. Silas is in prison. You kept your house, your freedom, your dignity. But you lost her. And I don't think you wanted that. I wanted justice. You got it. Was it worth it? I walked to the garage without answering. Days later. Evening. I sat in my garage workshop editing a new project. Nature documentary. Seagulls at Tom McCall Waterfront Park. I was editing a documentary about seagulls. Seagulls. After spending 3 months creating a cinematic masterpiece about family betrayal, I was filming birds at the waterfront. Delphine asked what the film was about. I said, survival strategies in urban environments. She said, so, a metaphor. I said, they're just seagulls. She said, sure, Dad. Delphine's voice from the house. Dinner in 20 minutes, I called back. Okay. Normal, domestic, safe. But I saw the old photo on my desk. 3 of us. 1995. Priscilla's 8th birthday. The zoo trip. I picked it up. Studied the younger version of my daughter. Skinned knee from falling off her bike earlier that week. Band-Aid with cartoon character. She'd stopped crying, smiled. Thanks, Daddy. That girl was gone, replaced by the woman who betrayed me, now replaced by a broken stranger working at Safeway. A single tear tracked down my cheek. First time I'd cried through all of this. I didn't wipe it away, just let it fall. Returned to editing. Seagull frozen mid-flight over the Willamette River. Played the clip. Bird soaring, free, alone, beautiful and solitary. Pressed pause again. Freedom, survival, solitude, the price of winning. I looked at the photo again, at the editing screen, at my reflection in the dark window. In the kitchen, Delphine was cooking, normal sounds, domestic peace. But the house felt larger somehow, emptier. I had won everything and lost something I couldn't name. The seagull remained frozen on screen, wings spread, alone against the sky. I saved the project file, stood, turned off the monitor, walked to the kitchen where my daughter, my remaining daughter, set 2 plates on the table. Just 2, not 3, not 4. 2. This was my family now, smaller, safer, intact, but diminished. I sat down. We ate dinner, talked about her work, my health, ordinary things. The empty chairs said nothing. After dinner, I found an envelope on my desk, addressed to Priscilla, stamped, not mailed. I'd written something weeks ago. Couldn't send it, couldn't throw it away. Delphine appeared in the doorway. You going to mail that? I don't know. She's still your daughter. I know. The door doesn't have to stay closed forever. I know that too. She left me alone with the envelope. I held it for a long time, then put it in the desk drawer. Not today, maybe not ever, but not today. Outside, rain began again. Portland winter, constant and gray. I returned to the garage, opened a new project, more seagulls, more solitary birds against vast skies, freedom, independence, survival, the things I'd fought for, the things I'd won, and in winning, the things I'd lost. If you like this story, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your impressions of this story in the comments. To listen to the next story, click on the box on the left. Thank you for watching.